Okay, so at this point we've created two tables, one for entry of employee data and one for entry of employee hours. If we double click on the table, we can see the data that we entered in the forms is now populated in the tables. But ultimately, we want to combine the data in these two tables. So you want to multiply the total hours worked for each employee. So you can see employee 111, 1111 has worked a total of 8.8 hours one day and 10 the second day. So he's worked 18.8 hours for the week. Employee 222 has worked 10. Employee 333 has worked 5 hours for the week. And we want to take their total hours and multiply it by their hourly rate to come up with their total payroll. So in order to do this, we're going to create a query. So a query, so I'm going to click on Create and then Query Wizard. And I'm going to do this in stages. So the Query Wizard, we're going to just select fields that we're going to use in the... Sorry about that. My cat, again, has interrupted my session here. But I'm going to do this in stages. I'm going to use the wizard to get started. So I'm going to select from the employee table the employee ID, last name, first name, and pay rate, everything. And from the hours table, I'll select the other two fields, the work date and the hours worked. And for now, I'm just going to accept the defaults. I'm going to call this compute pay query. And I'm going to initially just click finish and see my results. So this didn't really do anything except show me a combination of what was entered in the two fields, so the two tables. So I've got for each day the employee's name, their pay rate, the date, and how many hours they worked. But now I'm going to go in and modify this in Design View. So I right-clicked on the query name, and I'm going into Design View, and I'm going to go out to this empty column to the right, and I'm going to enter manually a new field called, I'll call it total pay, and it's going to be the hours worked times the pay rate. And I have to be very careful to use the exact spelling that I used when I defined the fields. And now I'm also going to right click on the in the second row, and I'm going to select the option called totals. And then where it says group by, I'm going to click a drop down box and I'm going to click sum. So we don't want each day's hours worked, we want to add them up. Now I'm going to get rid of the pay rate, the work date, and the hours worked because we don't really need those. So I'm going to click cut. I'm going to select the column, and then I'm going to right click and cut for each of those three fields. That's very important because it's not going to work if I don't. So once I get done with this, I'm going to close. I'll double click on the query. Those of you who have Office 2010, in the menu you might see an arrow to rerun the query. You can also double click on the query name and it will rerun it. My field size isn't big enough. There's a lot of decimals there. It doesn't really matter, but my total pay here has been computed. So I'm going to close out of this screen and save my changes.